All right, you are tuned in to another episode of the Geek Vice, the official podcast of overworked cubicle dwellers everywhere. And speaking of overworked cubicle dweller, your host, Morph, who is not overworked.
I am not overworked at all, except for trying to get stuff ready for this podcast this week, because this is episode number 86 of Geek Vice, a podcast struggling to be heard across the vastness of the World Wide Web. We dare to go where millions of men have gone before. I mean, really, someone had to show us how to do it. Thanks for joining us in our geekdom as we discuss all things geek and San Diego Comic-Con and maybe a other relevant topic or two. For this week's episode of Geek Vice, my name's Morph, that guy's Kip. What is going on, Kip?
Oh, not a whole heck of a lot. I'm ready for bed. That's the sad part about the whole situation.
Well, that is unacceptable. You cannot do that yet, and because we have a lot of stuff going on tonight. We have all kinds of stuff from San Diego Comic-Con, and the fact that I left the house last week and went to the movies again. This is the second time this year I have gone to the movies. So
that's just a scary, scary thing for all involved.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But I went and saw Inside Out, and we're going to save my review for that one. I took the whole family to go see this, and we're going to save that review for next week when we have a little less things to talk about because we have so much to cover.
Yeah, and I saw Minions over the weekend, so we'll have to cover that next week.
Oh, yeah. So we'll have a whole movie review segment next week, and maybe I'll even see if I can't record my kids and their opinions, and then we can have a 6-year-old's take on the movie. How about that?
We'll finally have somebody speaking intelligently on the show.
Yes,
finally.
We would. Oh, all right. So, where should we start? Should we start with DC, Marvel, or a whole bunch of other stuff? Where do you want to start first?
Wow, that's a toughie. I do want to say one thing though, and that is you missed out. We had Eddie of Doug and Eddie over to do some gaming, and you missed out, man. It was a good time.
I know.
We played a little Ticket to Ride, some Flapjacks and Sasquatches, which I think now we should just call that the official game of this podcast because
absolutely.
I think I've played that game like 5 million times now.
Yeah, I think we need to get Bill and John. We need to get Prolific Games to sponsor an episode. How about that? Or they can even just sponsor our podcast.
Something.
We need something, man. We give them so much play because that is an awesome game, and I missed that out.
We converted Eddie. He said he's gonna buy his own copy.
Oh, there you go. So you hear that, John and Bill? You got another sale coming because of Geek Vice. We single-handedly help you fund the expansion to Flapjacks and Sasquatches. And Tricked Out Hero. And whatever the next thing they've got coming up, which they've got a few things in the works, I know that much. So we'll have to see when that comes out.
Yeah, and I guess we should say that we said all these nice things, and they did not pay us to do so. So it's just a genuine like of the game.
That is true. That is true. All right.
Let's start off with some DC stuff.
All right, so we'll start off with DC. DC started off this big thing with releasing the pilot for Supergirl at San Diego Comic-Con. Now, there is a caveat to this. The Supergirl pilot was not put up on... Well, I could have probably found a bootleg thing, but I didn't really want to watch the very first episode of Supergirl yet. I kind of want to wait till October 28th when it airs on CBS to see this thing. But there is some places that have put out some reviews for it already. And they've kind of gone. I've seen mostly good reviews for this thing. They really like what's her name? uh, Benoist is her name. The Melissa Benoist, who plays Supergirl.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, exactly. And they like what she's done. They like Cat Grant, who is played by Callista Flockhart. They've got lots of good things to say about this. It ranked up there fairly high, but they also said that this is not, just because the pilot's good doesn't mean the whole series is going to be good. And in the same sense, just that this pilot wasn't flawless. There was some things that they thought could be handled a little differently or stuff that could improve, but if DC has or Warner Brothers has shown us anything, and that's that they can take some criticism with their TV series and make adjustments as they go, and these things turn out pretty good. They did it with Arrow. There was some complaints with Arrow after the first season, and they made some adjustments to that. It picked up steam. The Flash, I think, just came off strong altogether. I don't think that one really ever faltered much.
Yeah, people love that one right out of the gate.
Yeah. So, Supergirl is not that far removed from Smallville either, which ran for a really long time on TV. So, DC, I'm going to give them credit for this one. I think this one's going to be pretty good. And we've got a few other things to discuss about their TV shows, like they released the trailer for Legend of Tomorrow, which is pretty similar to what we've already seen.
I thought it was exactly the same. I couldn't tell a difference.
Yeah, I don't think it was any difference. So, I mean, there was a little bit added to it. Maybe it was a little longer. I don't know, but pretty much the same old stuff with that one. I think that one's going to be really good too. I like how
I'm looking forward to both of those shows, Supergirl and Legends of Tomorrow. We, like I said, I had a gaming thing at my house on Friday, and one of the people that joined us said he was not looking forward to seeing Supergirl. He thought the trailer makes it look pretty dumb. But other than that, most of the feedback I've gotten has been pretty positive.
Yeah.
He never watched Veronica Mars, so maybe that's why he won't like it. I don't know. But I'm actually looking forward to it. To me, the trailer for it, I haven't watched the pilot. I'm like you, I don't want to watch it and have to wait.
Right.
But the trailer to me is a little bit weak in the beginning, but once she kind of embraces her powers, then it starts to kick butt. And I think that's the way I'm expecting the pilot to be that way.
Yeah. That's kind of my thought too, and I think it's going to be pretty good. I think it's going to end up being an okay show. Whether or not it's going to fit into my if I'm going to tune in for every episode, I don't know yet. Just because I'm not a huge fan of Superman, I'm not a huge fan of Supergirl. They're not characters that are big in my, makes me want to turn it on, and I don't know that I'm going to tune in for every episode or watch it every week like I do with some of the other shows, but I'm at least going to check out the first few episodes because I want to at least see what they do with it, and then I'll make my opinion from there. So. Yeah,
and that's a good way of doing it. I mean, my problem is there's so many things out there that we've been watching. It's just like, really, one more thing? One more TV show? Do I have time?
Right, exactly.
Maybe after the way this week goes at work, maybe I'll have plenty of time on my hands. Who knows? But yeah, I probably will watch it and week to week, and if it isn't very good, then I'll stop. But if it's really great, I will definitely make time for it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm going to go with. So something else that came out of San Diego Comic-Con that I thought was interesting was DC and Lego teaming up to do the what's it called here? The Art of the Brick DC Comics, and this is going to be a worldwide tour That's kind of like almost like a museum tour type thing, but it's going to be all DC art type stuff made out of Legos. So the trailer that they put out was, or it's more like a sizzle reel, real short, under a minute long. Looked really cool though. Some of the stuff they did, like they did the original, the first comic book was Superman's original issue, Action Comics. They did that they made that 3D out of Legos. So, things like that are going to be on display. A big, kind of oversized face of the Joker is something else. I think these are kind of cool. This is going to open up in Sydney, Australia. It's going to be where it starts. I haven't seen anything. I tried to do a quick search when this came out last week to try to figure out where else it was going, but I haven't been able to track down a full list of like tour dates. But this is something they say is going to be a worldwide tour, so I don't know. We'll have to see if this comes to the Kansas City area, because that's something that I would like to go see, and I think my kids would enjoy seeing it too.
Heck yeah, and we've got that Lego thing down at
down in Crown Center.
Crown Center. So
yeah, I'm hoping that it'll come here.
It should.
Yeah. Some other news that came out for those of you that are big comic book fans and have read all kinds of DC comic books. Some big news that came out over the weekend was that there's going to be a Dark Knight 3, and it's called The Master Race. This is the third sequel, I guess, to the original Frank Miller The Dark Knight Returns. It's kind of a dark, gritty. I mean, if you know Frank Miller, if you've seen anything like Sin City, this is Frank Miller's take. That Sin City was Frank Miller as well. So, very dark and gritty take on Batman, and this is the other thing that is really cool is that this is also going to be Frank Miller's not doing all of the writing. He's also going to be writing with Brian Azzarello, who has written some incredible stories, dark, very dark tales. I believe he wrote The Killing Joke, I believe. But he's an awesome writer. So those are two really good writers that they're putting on this. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to have art from Andy Kubert, who does some really good artwork, and I'm sure Frank Miller's going to do a lot of art too, because it's what he does. So, not a whole lot of details on this other than it's scheduled to be coming out in the fall.
Well, with Frank Miller attached, it's going to be. I think it's going to be worth checking out. That's for sure. So. Yeah. Plus, I was a big fan of the Sin City stuff, so I'm excited.
There you go. And we'll kind of flip the switch here from comic books to movies. There was a lot of movie stuff put out. One of them, probably the big one, the big news out of the weekend, was a rumor that Affleck is going to be directing a Batman movie after Batman vs. Superman and the Justice League. So it's going to be a standalone Batman movie. So, and the rumors is it's going to be I think the original rumor right now is that it's going to be called Cape Crusader. So, what do you think about Ben Affleck starring and directing the next Batman movie?
I'm more excited about him directing it than starring in it, if that makes any sense. But
yeah.
I think he's done a really nice job when he's directed like Argo and things like that. So, I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think this is cool. This has been rumored for a while, but it's starting to get a little bit more traction. Nobody's officially come out and said that yes, it's going to happen, but The way some of the rumors on the negotiating and different rumors are kind of backing up this one, and so it's looking more and more legitimate. This is going to happen. So that's why I kind of threw it in there because and Affleck's not going to do this all by himself. He's also going to Jeff Johns is going to be there by his side helping do it. And Jeff Johns is kind of he's now a director of something over there at DC, but he's kind of like the Kevin Feige of DC Comics. Chief Creative Officer, that's what Jeff Johns' title is at DC. So
how awesome would it be to have that title?
Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool. And he gets a lot of flack too. The guy who has to do that is going to piss off a lot of people for some of the stuff he does make, and then he's going to probably make a lot of people happy with the stuff he makes. So he's never going to win everybody's vote, that's for sure.
No, and you can't please everybody all the time. You just got to do what you do.
Yep, and so there was also the trailer for Batman v Superman was played out, and this one did look a little different from the stuff we'd seen before. Did you see the Batman v Superman trailer?
It's one of those that kind of reinvigorates the idea of seeing the movie again.
Yeah.
When the first idea came out, it's like, oh, this is going to be awesome. And then as they said, okay, now this person's going to be in it. Now this person's going to be in it. It's like, wow, maybe I don't really want to see this movie. And then the trailer came out and you're like, all right, I guess it's okay. And then the next trailer came out and you're like, I don't know. And now this one came out, I was like, okay, I'm back on board. So yeah. It's been kind of up and down for me on this one.
Yeah, it's I just don't know. The trailer looks, I'm not gonna lie, the trailer makes the movie look good. But yeah. How many times have we seen a trailer look really good and then we go into the movie and we're just like, all the good parts were in the trailer? So
yeah, porn has the same problem. It's weird.
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't know what I think about this one yet. Our good friend Patrick, who has sent us some comics to review a while back, has been posted something on Facebook the other day over the weekend saying, you know what? It's kind of sad to see all these people who complained about the Batman v Superman movie, and then they see this trailer, and now they're all saying it's going to be a great, wonderful movie. And it was kind of telling. It was interesting reading the comments after he posted that, because there were a few people that had been like, well, no, I really supported this before. I thought this had a chance. But then there were a few people that said, you know what? They kind of reached my sentiment of, yeah, the trailer looks good, but I still don't have any faith that Warner Brothers can make a good movie because they've failed so many times. And it's kind of interesting to hear, and I'm wondering if at what point Warner Brothers can turn this around and make a good DC movie. Like, can this be it? Could this be the movie that finally they're able to, all the critics and all the fans are just behind it, or a majority of, because we don't hear a lot of people complaining about the Marvel movies. I'm sure there's some out there, but they're a minority. Most people really enjoy those movies. Is this going to be the movie that Warner Brothers can then say, yes, this is how we are going to, this is the movie we're going to set in stone as our flagpole and start building stuff around? We're waiting for them, so maybe they can do it here, maybe they can't. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I don't know. I hope so because the Justice League and all that just sounds like an awesome deal.
Agreed.
And so flagpole stuff, I'm good. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Anything, give it to me.
You
I
know,
just
and
want to be at the movie theater.
exactly. We go from really good with really good trailer with Batman vs Superman to holy crap, what the fuck are you guys thinking? So they announced there's going to be another Green Lantern movie, and it's going to be the Green Lantern Corps. So it's going to feature a variety of characters from the galactic DC universe. We saw some time of it in the last Green Lantern movie, where he was off in space, kind of getting trained. So we're gonna see some of those. Its release date is June 19th, 2020, so it's way down the road, you know, 5 years down the road. But the first Green Lantern movie I didn't like. I'm not sure that I'm really going to be tuning in to see this one. But I guess if by the time this movie is going to come out, they've shown me that they can make good movies, maybe, just maybe, this can be good.
I hope it is. And I don't know, maybe I'm in a minority here. Well, apparently I am a minority here, but I liked the first Green Lantern movie. And maybe it's because I never read the comic book. I don't know.
Could
But
be.
when I saw the movie and the way it ended with Sinestro and all that stuff, I'm like, this is gonna be awesome. And then it tanked, and we're not gonna get to see it. And
Yeah.
I was pretty bummed.
Well,
So
and
I'm excited that this is getting going. Hopefully, it'll be more of people's liking than the other
yeah,
one.
I hope so. Well,
But
and
I like the first one, so people get over it. Go see it.
and you know what? My problem, I enjoyed the parts of it with Sinestro in it. I enjoyed more of that movie for the thoughts of what could come in the sequel with the Sinestro Corps War type movie, but they didn't do that in this movie. They instead went with the guy with the giant head who doesn't. It just didn't work for me. I don't know.
You didn't like the villain, huh?
No, I didn't like the villain. Ryan Reynolds was okay as Green Lantern. Like I didn't have a problem with that casting, but I just didn't like the way the movie played out. I don't know. Maybe it was the visual effects of the Green Lantern. I don't, of all the different stuff you could conjure up. I don't know.
I
But
don't know. Maybe I just had too many magic mushrooms that day and thought everything was awesome. I don't know.
or maybe you just read the Lego script before that.
I did. That's what it was. I was gluing all my Legos together. Got a contact high from the rubber cement, and I thought Green Lantern was good. No, I really did like it. And like I said, maybe it's because I don't know anything about the comic book character itself other than his name.
Yeah.
So maybe I was in the right place at the right time for that one. But like I said, hopefully this one kicks butt.
Well, and we'll flip back to something that DC has done really well, and that is animated movies. They have announced that they're going to do an animated movie covering the book by Alan Moore, Batman: The Killing Joke, and this is kind of this book was originally written. It was written by Alan Moore, and it was originally written as a DC calls them Elseworlds title. It wasn't supposed to be part of the canon. However, it was so well written and it was taken so well that a lot of the parts of this book became canon, and one of them being Joker showing up at Jim Gordon's house and shooting Barbara Gordon, who, at the time in the comic books was Batgirl. shooting her and paralyzing her. And there was also some suspected off-panel rape that could have happened. It wasn't ever really defined. It was just kind of the innuendos were there. So this is definitely a darker take on Batman, a little bit more brutal. This is not going to be a kids movie, which DC and Warner Brothers have no problem doing. Several of their animated movies, I have watched them on Netflix, and because I always try to watch movies before I let my kids watch them, especially when the content might be a little questionable, and anything superhero, you should pay close attention to it before you just drop it in front of your kids. And anything animated does not mean it's perfectly suitable for kids. So there has been a couple of their last couple Batman movies that they've put animated have not been very kid friendly. So this looks like another animated movie that they're going to put out specifically set for adults. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Well, it's animated, so people are going to let their kids watch it anyway.
Yeah, probably.
But I struggle watching the animated versions of these, and I don't know why. But the more I read on this one, the more I'm thinking I'm actually going to enjoy this.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to it. So, yeah. So me and, everybody's 5-year-old will be watching it. The 5-year-old will probably understand it better than I will, but I think I'm going to give it a shot. I'm looking forward to this, which is saying something because I don't watch animated comic book movies.
Yeah. I would recommend this one. The guy that they've got directing this or kind of moving this along is Bruce Timm, and he's got a few others that he's done, and they're actually really pretty good. So he knows what he's doing. He's written some and directed some of the animated episodes for some of the TV shows as well, and so he's got some good stuff under his belt. So this is going to be we'll see what he can do with this one and see if he can see if this dark, gritty tone causes a big controversy or not for DC.
Is there any other movie out there that you would recommend watching before you watch this to kind of gear you up for what it could be like, or
no,
even if it's by even if it has nothing to do with Batman, but it's by the people who are putting this one together or anything like that? Did I just put you on the spot?
Yeah, a little bit, but that's all right. I don't know, not really. Some of the ones, I'm trying to remember what the last one was. I think it was Batman Under the Red Hood. That one was a really different, it was kind of a more darker take on Batman. That one was really good. But other than that, this is really kind of going above, like, this is going in a different direction than a lot of things go, as far as what The Killing Joke is. Now, if you really want to know more about it, I recommend picking up the graphic novel by Alan Moore and reading that one, because it's a really good read. It's Alan Moore also wrote The Watchmen, so it can be a little wordy at times because he can be a little wordy, but it's a really good comic book. So I recommend, if you really want to know what this is going to be like, check out the Killing Joke graphic novel, and that will probably that you'll at least get to see the darkness that's going to be in this animated movie.
Well, I will definitely do that, because I need to expand my graphic novel / comic book reading repertoire.
There you go. All
Awesome.
right, and I know we have probably missed some things from DC, but I was actually out of town over the weekend, so I was kind of throwing this stuff together before I left, and then after I got back, and I know that I've probably missed something, but we also were only on here for 45 minutes, and we're already going to run long, so. You guys can, if there's something that you think we should have caught up on, or you want our opinion on, send us an email at geekvice@gmail.com and let us know what we missed. That way we can go check it out, and we'll let you know next week. How about that?
That works for me. I think people should, at least give us their opinion. That way we know what to say, because we have no opinions ourselves,
Right.
And we just need everybody else to tell us what to think.
Yeah, just like it says in the intro, someone's got to tell us how to do this stuff.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. This may be episode 86, but everyone is like we've never done this before.
Yes. Now, I'm going to jump us over to Marvel, because the Marvel stuff is a lot smaller of a list, and I think these are really cool. I watched these panels, so I am kind of stoked for some of these. But before we get into the panels, let's start off with the Jessica Jones series. That'll be a Netflix series that was had some pictures put up on, or I guess released during San Diego Comic-Con, and
Yes, and they're tastefully done.
that they are. You get to see a couple pictures of Jessica Jones, but what they really are showing is Luke Cage, who is going to be the superhero in the Jessica Jones series. Jessica Jones is, she is more just a detective. And I'm curious to see where she fits into this, because in the comic book she marries Luke Cage. So I'm curious to see if when this series starts, if they're already married, or if this is something to where it could be a love interest within the first season, or how that's going to work out. But
Well, maybe they get married after she, puts out the fire from him being, from him burning on the street.
right, and that's part of the good thing, or that's part of the thing that this is showing is Luke Cage is basically invulnerable. He has I don't exactly know his whole background, but he has basically his superpowers is unbreakable skin and superhuman strength. So, yeah, he's getting burned alive basically, and walks out of a burning building and is perfectly fine. So,
As one tends to be.
yeah, he can't catch on fire. But the only downside to this just being pictures is we don't get to see if Luke Cage is going to use his tagline from the comic books, which is "Sweet Christmas."
Well, we can only hope.
Yes, we can. So I'm gonna save one of these for the end because I think it is awesome. But there was the X-Men Apocalypse panel. We'll move to this one next, and it started off. The panel was actually really good. I enjoyed listening to it. But they talked about. First, they had on Hugh Jackman to kind of start off the panel, and Hugh Jackman made a couple of comments. Well, they showed the downside to the panels that they put out on the internet post San Diego Comic-Con. They have the video from the clips that they show clipped out, so you don't get to see all those. You've got to go out and find people who recorded them with with their phone in order to see them. But they opened the panel with what I'm guessing is the from the first movie, from the first X-Men movie, where Hugh Jackman plays Wolverine. And so there was a nice little kind of back and forth between Bryan Singer and Hugh Jackman on how important Hugh Jackman's been for the last 16 years, because that's how long he's played Wolverine. 16 years, which is just crazy. But it was so that was kind of a fun way to start off the panel. But then it also, Hugh Jackman kind of leaked that there could be possibly one more Wolverine movie, and he hinted at Old Man Logan, which is a comic book series that was put out not that long ago, within the last probably 2 to 3 years. And so it'll be, I don't know, we'll be interested to see if 20th Century Fox adapts the Old Man Logan comic book for the big screen. It's basically that series was kind of a way to write off and kill Wolverine, basically.
I kind of hope they do that because, well, not kill off Wolverine, but at least give us one more movie. Because I felt like the Wolverine movies got better with each one.
Yeah.
I felt like they were hitting their stride, and if they do one more, it probably would be to kill him off, which would be a bummer. But still, would look forward to seeing another.
Yeah. Well, and the nice thing with the way Bryan Singer has kind of done these movies, these X-Men movies, is they could easily bring him back with a time traveling, Wolverine, somebody who's come from back in time, and then you could say, hey, that would be a good way to bring in a new actor to play Wolverine, because Hugh Jackman is eventually going to have to stop playing Wolverine. Eventually, he is not going to be young enough. The other interesting thing, if they do take the Old Man Logan storyline, is that means that Fox might have come to an agreement with Disney, with Marvel/Disney, to bring in some other characters to that movie, because I believe the Old Man Logan storyline included the Hulk. So that would have to be an agreement between the two of them, which could help bring the X-Men title back under the Marvel umbrella.
Into the Mouse House. That would be nice.
Kind of similar to what Spider-Man is. It's not, Spider-Man isn't owned by, the licensing isn't owned by Marvel right now. It's owned, for the movie rights are still Sony's, but Marvel has a little bit more creative control and a little bit of more creative influence. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens there.
This would be cool.
The other thing, they did actually have a X-Men Apocalypse panel, and they did talk about the movie. They did show a trailer for the movie, and I did find I found a camera phone recorded screening of it, and this, although it was hard to see the whole thing, because obviously the guy running the phone didn't know what he was doing when he tried to record it, it is it's very interesting. The trailer looks really good. They've kind of taken Apocalypse, and they even talked about this in the panel, that they've kind of taken him and defined his one major power being the ability to influence other people. Takes their greatest, the thing they want the most, their greatest fantasy, and basically convinces them that they can have it. But if it's anything like what Apocalypse does in the comic books, he's going to warp that. He's going to promise them this fantasy and then warp it into whatever it is he wants them to do. So it's going to be very interesting. It sounds like from the panel that the Apocalypse in the comic books has 4 horsemen, And Angel is one of them that has turned into Archangel. It sounds like there is a good possibility that Magneto and possibly Storm and someone else, I can't remember who the other person was they mentioned, were going to be the other three. But the fact that Storm is in that grouping of a possible Horseman of the Apocalypse, that's interesting to me. I'm curious to see what they do with this. I'm looking forward to this. Much like the Wolverine movies, I think X-Men First Class was really good. I liked Days of Future Past. So I'm curious to see what happens with this one. I think it's going to be just that much better. So.
Do you know if they're still using Halle Berry as Storm?
No, they are not.
Okay.
But I do not remember her name.
Younger actress.
We just know it's somebody younger.
Yes.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Well, it would just make sense that, if it was played by Halle Berry, I always thought she would bring about the apocalypse.
Yeah, no, it's... Gosh dang it, who is that? I gotta look it up now.
Oh, sorry, I made you have to do real work.
No,
dang it.
I can't do
My bad.
this. Yeah, they did. It was actually really funny in there. Olivia Munn plays Psylocke in this, and the panel was being run by Chris Hardwick, who is he does a lot of comic book show type stuff.
He also did the Star Wars panel.
Yes, he does a lot of the panels there, and he used to do these. I think he actually used to work on Attack of the Show, which was a G4 show that had starred Olivia Munn, and so it was kind of funny the two of them going back and forth at each other. But so that was actually kind of entertaining. Storm is going to be played by Alexandra Shipp.
Watch your mouth.
Yeah, exactly. She is about 17 years old, it looks like. I'm trying to look. This is going to be her first movie. She has done some. She's done a lot of TV series. Nothing that I've heard of though. Ray Donovan, she was in that. She's in Days of Our Lives for 3 episodes.
She's 23.
23. Okay. Oh, she started her acting career at 17. I didn't click the
She was born in 1991. Man, that makes me feel old.
Yeah. Yeah. So she's fairly new to this thing, but it's I don't know. We'll see what she can do. She can't be any worse than Halle Berry.
Nobody can be.
So let's see. There was that one. Mark these off as we go so that I don't repeat myself.
I like to repeat myself.
Yeah. They had another panel that, it was one panel, but if you look it up on YouTube, it's actually split up into 2, and that is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agent Carter. Both of those panels were really good. The Agent of Carter one, Agent of Carter. Jeez. It's been a long day. The Agent Carter panel didn't really give us all that much as far as new information. They did say, that the second season is going to be 10 episodes. They didn't say when that's going to come out, but so I don't know if it's going to be another in the middle of. I got shit playing in the background. Go away. I hate websites that have ads that play automatically.
Oh yeah, the audio.
Yes, those piss me off. So if you're out there making websites, quit doing it. But it was actually a really interesting panel to listen to. Haley Atwell and and James D'Arcy, who plays
That guy.
the butler.
Oh yeah.
Jarvis.
Jarvis.
Again, it's been a long day. A lot of stuff to go through my head. But it was kind of fun listening to those two talk and answer some questions and little things like that. So I think this is going to be a good series. I'm looking forward to season 2. I know that you and your wife weren't too big of fans of it, but I would recommend giving it one more, give it 10 more episodes.
Well, what do we know? We liked the Green Lantern movie, so nobody
Exactly.
can take anything we say seriously.
Exactly. So, I don't know. I think it's going to get better. I think they're going to be able to use this and kind of, use that as a springboard and go from it. But hey, your mileage may vary. You might still not like it, but I say give it one more chance.
Oh, I'll definitely give it all the chances I possibly can, but it's just got to be better than that first season, in my opinion. Holy cow.
Yeah.
And believe me, I like Haley Atwell. I loved her in the Captain America movies, so it's not her. I just felt like the show was missing something.
Right. I understand. So the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. one gave us a little bit more information. I mean, we know that the third season is going to start September 29th on ABC.
September 29th sounds like a long way away, and then you realize it's already mid-July.
Yeah, exactly.
This year is flying by.
Exactly. They did have that God, I wish I would have wrote down their names. I didn't write down the names. The guy who basically helps out. Well, basically all the new characters that were introduced in this last season. Mac and the guy who helps
Sky.
Yeah, helps Sky, and then also Hunter, Bobby Morris, all of them. I guess Bobby was already listed as a recurring character, but now those characters, Mac, Hunter, and whatever the hell his name is that I don't remember.
I can't think of it either.
Gosh, Lincoln. He was the Inhuman that had the electrical charge.
Yeah, that's right. Was it Lincoln?
I think it was Lincoln.
Yeah, you're probably right. I'm still upset that they killed Trip.
Yes, Lincoln. Well, we will get to that here in just a minute. Those three have been confirmed that they are going to be recurring characters. So those guys are all back on for more episodes. So that's good. I liked those three. I liked Hunter and I liked Mac and I liked Lincoln too. They also announced that there is going to be another Inhuman. That his name is going to be Lash, and apparently he's in the comics. Debuted in the comics last year in Inhuman #1. I'm going to have to go back and look that up. I didn't get a chance to tonight. I have that comic, but I haven't gone back and looked up to see who Lash is in that comic, and to see how he fits. But I will definitely do some more research on that and get back to you. They also, there was, and here's the part where it was this was kind of fun, and I've only been able to see things, or I've only been able to read about this clip because it wasn't put up anywhere, but they did a kind of a pre-taped video with executive producers Jed Whedon and Marissa something that I don't know his last name, but they talk about kind of things that they want to see in the next season because they haven't started filming the next season yet. And so it was kind of, some of the things were that Daisy Johnson, is going to basically be known as Quake. That's going to be her new handle instead of Sky. And that Coulson and Daisy are going to assemble the Secret Warriors, which is from the comic books, but is kind of, the Secret Warriors were kind of like,
I'm guessing they were a secret.
yeah, they were kind of like Shield's, like in the old, it would have been like the group that Dum Dum Dugan and Nick Fury and these guys had back in the World War II age. So they're going to put together a kind of a covert ops group like that that's going to probably have some Inhumans along with, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Bobby Morris, if we don't see Bobby in there as Mockingbird, that kind of a, covert ops type group. So it'll be curious. I'm curious to see where that comes from, and that was just kind of them spitballing ideas. It was from what I've read, that video was actually pretty funny. They also mention a couple of things in there. In that video, they were throwing darts at who was going to die next, or who they were going to kill off in Season 3. And next to, I always get them mixed up, next to Simmons, Simmons's name, it says she's already dead. So that's going to be curious. We'll see what happens with Simmons in this next season.
Yeah, because being sucked into that, whatever the hell they call that thing.
Right.
It just opens up a lot of storyline for them.
Right, exactly. So be curious to see where that comes from. But she was on the panel, so
she's not dead yet.
Yeah, she's at least alive enough to be at the panel. So I don't know. We'll have to see what comes with that. But then there was also talks of Trip being possibly not dead,
which would be awesome.
So I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. He was. I mean, I guess we saw him explode into pieces, didn't we? Or fall into pieces.
Or at least an outer crust.
Yeah. So maybe he survived and woke up first and kind of slithered off. I don't know. But there was some talks about that too. So those were really good panels. I recommend checking those out. They were kind of fun to listen to and listen to the banter back and forth between all those characters. It was kind of funny when they talked about, in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. panel, they talked about getting that all those actors were kept in the dark about the Hydra thing about Hydra coming out until basically it was until right before they started filming it, which I believe was post the release of, or it couldn't have been post the release of, but fairly close to the release of the Captain America movie that released, that caused this big uproar. And it was so Sky and Ming-Na Wen, Agent May, talk about them they read the scene together where they find out that Ward is a spoilers, everybody, if you haven't watched the first season, or I guess the
second
season.
Or was that the third season?
No, this third season's coming up.
S.H.I.E.L.D.
Third season starts this fall.
Yeah.
So I whatever, spoilers, everybody. I'm going to talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That Ward is a Hydra agent. So it was kind of funny listening to the responses of that, and that's worth watching that panel just for that comment, because Sky pretty much drops the F-bomb in a panel that is supposed to be kid-friendly. So it was kind of funny.
Well, now I have some renewed respect for her.
Yeah, I've liked her in the series. I think she's kind of fun, but she seems like a real fun person in general. Watching this panel, she looked like, you know, she kind of takes all this stuff in stride.
Well, I'll definitely. I feel bad because a lot of these I haven't watched the panels on yet. I need to do that. Once work doesn't get so time consuming, I'll be able to do that. Excuses. I've got them.
I understand completely, but you know, I'm going to throw out there that the last thing that I have for Marvel, which other than a few comic book things that kind of were wish-washy on, this was probably the most exciting panel to watch, and I recommend you need to go watch this panel, and you need to go find a camcorder recording of this trailer that was released, or you can wait 3 weeks, as our favorite actor Ryan Reynolds said the trailer will be released in 3 weeks because it's not done with visual effects. And if you haven't guessed it yet, it's the Deadpool movie. There was footage leaked for this. If you don't know the story behind Deadpool's movie coming about a year ago, after San Diego Comic-Con, there was leaked footage of a possible Deadpool movie, and it was shown at San Diego Comic-Con. Somebody recorded it and put it out on the internet, and fans loved this so much that the uproar could not be ignored by the studios, and said, okay, you can make this movie. And it is going to be rated R. It is going to be brutal. It is going to be violent, and you're just going to have to deal with it because it's Deadpool, and that's what Deadpool is.
Well, you know, that teaser short that they did last year, if you can't get excited about this movie after watching that, then you probably should check see if you have a pulse. Seriously. Yeah. And I'm pumped about this one, and you know, you should look up the Twitter banter that they have with the cast, and that'll get you going pretty good. And all the pictures that he posts with him, like on the bearskin rug and all that other stuff. Oh, it's funny as hell, and I'm just looking forward to seeing the whole thing put together. It's going to be, I think it's going to be fantastic.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. And you know, part of that sizzle reel, or part of that footage, is actually in the trailer, so you'll recognize parts of it. But man, this thing is just, it's, first of all, the actors that are in this are hilarious. You know, Ryan Reynolds, in and of itself, he is funny. Like, I find him entertaining. Tim Miller, the director, was on this panel, and he was, like, I mean, he seemed extremely passionate about this thing and wanting this to be really good. And then you have this actor known as T.J. Miller. I don't know, have you ever heard of T.J. Miller?
I don't know. Maybe it's kind of a generic name.
Yeah, you look at he's a comedian and does kind of some stand-up comedy stuff. This guy is hilarious. He was in Cloverfield. He was in How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh yeah, I know this guy.
6. Yeah,
I like him in Silicon Valley. I think he's pretty on that.
He is hilarious, and just listening to him on the panel, and the way he talked on this panel, and from what it sounds like, that's pretty much how he acts in the movie. It's going to be great. Like, this movie is going to be, it's going to be comedic. It's going to make you laugh. It's going to be kind of I don't know. It's gonna make fun of itself. You know, that self-referential, you know, comedy type stuff that they throw out. It's gonna be good. This thing is gonna be awesome.
I think so.
Super stoked.
And you know, and they're showing it in February, which is usually where they dump a bad movie. But I think we're actually going to get to see a February movie that's going to be a lot of fun and worth seeing, worth paying some bucks for.
Yeah, this movie's going to make millions for them because it doesn't matter when they put it out there. You're gonna have tons of people just going to see this thing. Also, you've got to watch the trailer for a couple of comments that were the writers put into this movie, and I don't know if it was the writers or if it was Ryan Reynolds just going off the cuff, but he makes comments in the movie about, you know, their he basically has cancer throughout his body. He goes through this treatment, this experimental treatment, or goes through this organization to basically make him better, and that's what basically turns him into Deadpool. But he makes the comment as he's going into this thing that, you know, they say that they're going to make him a superhero, I think is kind of where it goes, and he makes some comment about, well, as long as I don't have to wear a green suit, referring to his Green Lantern movie that he did, which he also makes comments about that in the panel itself too, where he talks about he's never really got to do a superhero movie where he got to wear a proper superhero suit, because the Green Lantern movie, that entire suit was all CGI. So
yeah,
he kind of talks bad about the Green Lantern movie, not only in his Deadpool movie, but also in the panel about his Deadpool movie, which I found quite entertaining.
Well, you know, he's owning up to it.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I still stand by my statement. I like the movie.
Hey,
but
you can like the movie. That's all right.
I won't let it go.
But yeah, so that is what we have from Marvel. And you know what? Some of this other stuff, I think we might just save this for next week. What do you think?
I think that's a good idea.
We are already pushing over an hour for this thing. We've got some other movies that are coming out, you know, like The Man from U.N.C.L.E. and Pan. We've got some TV series like Doctor Who and Ninja Turtles and a few other new ones. Some comic book news and some video game news.
I'm looking forward to this Lego Dimensions. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, so, you know, we'll call this San Diego Comic-Con Part 1. Next week we'll go with some of the less known news stuff. Some of the not from the big two. So what do you think about that, Mr. Kip?
I'm all aboard.
All right, everybody. Well, check us out on our blog at geekvice.blogspot.com. You can follow us on Google Plus and Facebook. Just search for Geek Vice. You can follow Kip on Twitter at Kip Killigan, and you can follow me at Geek Vice. And yeah, thanks everybody for listening. If you have any comments about the stuff that we talked about from DC or Marvel, or some of the things that you thought should have been in our list of important things from San Diego Comic-Con, again, just dealing with the big two, because we got some more stuff coming that's not from the big two next week. Email us at geekvice@gmail.com. We like hearing your comments. We like hearing your responses. Tell us how stupid we are. I like hearing that too. So,
because we're used to it.
Yeah, that's what I hear every day. So on that note, we will see you guys next week.
Later!